You just have to be aware that you're going to be bad at it and accept that. Once you accept, I'm going to be bad at this for a period of time, one day you'll realize, I'm not as bad as I used to be.
This is the One Life Podcast.
That's it.
Yeah, that's like with everything, right?
Facts.
That is life, man.
That is life.
One life.
One life.
The One Life Podcast.
Welcome back. 3, 2, 1. No, I ain't gonna do it to him again. But welcome back to the One Life Podcast, man, with your host Todd Lawrence and your co-host Jonathan Horn, aka Johnny Unitas, aka Johnny Goat. We are back in the building with another episode, man. This is episode 15, and today we brought to y'all, man, another great, talented, special individual sitting right here next to me, next to Jonathan Horn, who has pressed the wrong button on the introduction, but we are still going. We got a great man in the building tonight, man. This man goes by the name of Christopher English, coming all the way from, he started from Queens, New York City, and now he's taking his talents to the Poconos Mountains, where we at right now, Pennsylvania, where it gets real cold, but he's still making it do what it do with his talent. And his talent is basically he's a film director, a movie director, producer. He's got a great story to tell today to y'all on the One Life Podcast, episode 15. Give it up for my man, Christopher English, man.
There we go. Now we get the claps.
I can go for the clap.
Yeah. Welcome to the One Life Podcast, Chris.
I like the applause.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Welcome. How you doing today, man? How you doing?
Right.
Yeah. Looking good, feeling good, man. You got the perfect appearance for what you do. You know what I'm saying? What does it say? Parental advisory?
Always.
Yeah. Tell the people a little bit about what you got going on right now as far as, your filmmaking, who you are and stuff like that. Christopher English, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Christopher English, some of my peoples out there know me as Cartel. My wife hates that, so I haven't used that name in a while.
Cartel's the nickname.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that one.
Cartel was the street name.
Okay.
Because, the reason, like my company back then was hood grown because I'm from the hood.
Yeah. Right.
I grew up in the projects.
Yeah.
But just because, where you grow up doesn't mean that's where you're stuck. I was the nerd nigga in the projects. The one, you know what I mean? In the 80s, I was making video games and selling them as shareware online.
Yeah.
And when there wasn't online through bulletin boards and stuff.
Right.
I got a review in the computer magazine.
Oh,
so I was
making
I was out there doing that shit in the 80s. The lady at the community center said I was the first one in the projects to have a computer, and I think I was.
The first one in the projects to have a computer. How did you get it?
Father. When they split and you throw that guilt on them.
Yeah, he went and bought you a computer.
Yeah, kind of like the scene with you, but Dad.
Yeah. We gonna get into that. We gonna
just gotta get me this computer.
Yeah.
And back then I couldn't afford, everybody had the Atari and shit, and that was $400 at the time. And I couldn't afford that.
At the time, what was that, 19?
That was, I would say, around 82.
1982.
Yeah, 82. Could have been around 84, but I definitely couldn't afford the Atari. That shit came out $400, and back then that was a lot of money.
$400 was a lot of money.
Right. In the
I
80s,
still don't got random $400 just lying around.
So I learned how to program. I taught myself to program, how to make video games. The first video game I made was a copy of Q*bert. Yeah, and I made another one that was.
You made a copy of a video game.
Yeah, I sat there and programmed it, and it was like what I used to play in the arcade.
Right.
And I made a couple of kung fu games that was like Yaya Kung Fu, and back then shareware was big, and shareware was the game is free to download,
right?
And if you like it, then send money for it,
Cool.
and that was my business model. And I was in high school doing this,
So did you at that time have any idea of how big that would be, that type of industry, or?
Nah, not at all. It was just something to do beyond the norm. And I'm telling you, I'd be up all night, not I wouldn't even go outside some days.
Right.
My mother would force me to go outside.
How old were you at this time?
About 16.
So you locked in early.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I had computer class when I was in junior high school. And me and the computer teacher, we didn't get along at all. Because he couldn't teach. And I told him that shit. And he kept me after school. And the whole time we was arguing. He was like, you know what, you're an idiot. And I said, you're an asshole, a little asshole. Because he was short. And we did this for about 10 minutes. He kept calling me names. I kept calling him names. And so I failed computers in junior high school.
Wow.
But I taught myself. And like anything else, I've taught myself. I've taught myself graphic design. I've taught myself music production. I've taught myself filmmaking. I've taught myself programming.
And how have you done this? Through YouTube or through what?
Well, back then there wasn't no YouTube.
Right.
So I was going to the Barnes and Nobles. I would buy every computer magazine, whether I had that computer or not.
Yeah.
I would buy every book on programming, whether it was for my computer or not. And like I bought some stuff from the old IBM back then, and I adapted it to the computer that I was using. So, you know, and I've always been that way. I used to draw comic books.
For real.
Yeah, I used to draw. I was a huge John Byrne and George Perez fan.
Yeah.
You know, George Perez drew the Titans.
Okay.
John Byrne drew damn near everything else.
Right.
Huge fan. I used to make these comic books, and I used to sell them to the people in the neighborhood.
Right.
The lady that runs the community center, she still has them. She sent me some of them back
You would draw the pictures and orchestrate the.
and Xerox them and sell them. So the high school I went to was a high school for printing, High School of Graphic Communication Arts on 49th Street.
What was the name?
Graphic Communication Arts. That was the name of the high school.
Yep.
And it specialized in printing because, you know, New York has those specialized high schools. Art and design, because I was going to go to art and design.
Right.
But I didn't wake up in the morning for the test. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, and I didn't feel like going there. So I went to graphic arts. In graphic arts, I met Elliot, damn, I forgot his last name, but he runs Double XL Magazine. He was in my class.
Oh, shit.
Whatchamacallit from the Jungle Brothers was in my class. So, you know, I had people there. When they filmed that Crush Groove scene, that all you can eat for $3.99, that was at the Sbarro's on Times Square. Everybody was running out to school trying to get in the movie. You know what I mean? Well, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to draw, and like I said, that school's a printing school. And at the time, I started to really get into like heavy metal.
Oh,
the
shit,
heavy metal
for real?
comics and stuff.
What you mean heavy metal
No, the-
comics?
Heavy Metal Magazine. They publish a fantasy magazine.
Okay. I thought you were
And-
talking about like that. Da-na-na,
No.
da-na-na, ah, da-na-na.
But you know, back then our taste
That's,
in music was eclectic anyway, because you know, when I was growing up, hip hop was still new, and the first people to accept hip hop were the punk rockers. There were no hip hop clubs.
Yeah.
Rappers
Pink
were
Floyd.
right? Rappers were in punk clubs,
Right.
you know, and until hip hop started getting bigger.
That's like what one of our previous guests was talking about, DJ Strategy. He was
Yeah.
saying that originally it was considered a form of rock and roll almost. You know?
Right.
And so hip hop stars would want to be rock stars.
Yeah,
you know? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
rock star lifestyle might don't make it. Living life every day, click, wasted. Yeah, that's what they talking about.
So I have a question for
Yes.
you. It sounds like you have a wide array of interests, and like you, I have a wide array of interests too. And those things you've kind of got yourself into. You taught yourself things, and your current profession, let's say, is filmmaking. Correct?
My day job right now is that I'm a graphic designer and programmer. That's my
Really?
day job.
Oh,
That's
so
what
your
pays the
your
bills.
passion.
My passion is the
project
filmmaker.
Is the filmmaker.
Yes.
That's fast. So how do we? Let's fast forward then. How do we go from? Because we know you did some music too. How did you go from?
Ice Cube.
How did you go from being a kid making games to your professional industry, and then finding a passion outside of that? Because I want to get more into that. Tell us more about that.
As far as my thing was growing up, I see people out there busting their ass, working hard, and you know, like I said, I was the nerdy one in the projects. You know, I didn't want to work some construction job and all that shit. I always wanted to work an office job.
Right.
So I made sure I learned how to do stuff that, you know, would have me working out of an office. And like I said, the school I went to was a school for printing. But at the time, printing was less on computers and more with plates and you know, and I don't remember the terminology because it's really outdated now. And that's what I got into. I had my little, like I said, I had my little computer that I was making games on, and I moved in with a friend. And you know, it was a party house. It was just us, 2 mattresses on the floor, Jamaica Queens, you know, doing stupid shit. And the house got broken into when we were going one day, and you know, my computer was stolen. I had spent so much money on equipment, you know, piece by piece, and that I kind of just like left the shit alone. And I wound up, you know, at one time I wound up doing some illegal stuff in the projects that you know probably should.
You had to get your money back.
Yeah, and kind of got caught, and you know there was a rule in the projects that you couldn't live.
Snitch, you can't snitch.
Yeah, and that you couldn't live in the projects, or they throw your mother out if you got caught selling drugs.
Oh, okay.
So it was either I had to leave or they would kick all of us out.
Right.
So I left. At the time, I had started getting into music because I wanted to be a rapper. I've always.
Didn't we all want to be rappers? Or something?
Right. I wanted to be in the spotlight, you know.
Yeah.
What was your rap name gonna be?
When I was younger, my rap name was Playboy C.
Playboy C.
Because I was always
Playboy
getting girls.
C.
You was on some pimp shit.
Yeah, I always had a woman.
Playboy C, I'm
Always.
slick on the mic. You come and see me. I got
And-
your wifey. Yeah, Playboy
So,
C.
you know, later on, you know, we changed that. But, like, the first person to give us our SB12 was Large Professor from Main Source because he lived in Flushing, you know,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
too far from us. And Drez from Black Sheep lived in our projects.
Wow.
So, you know, we knew him like, hey, what's up, whatever. This is before he was rapping, we were rapping. And, you know, back when they used to have the jams in the park, I tried DJing. And, you know, my friend let me come up and get on the turntables.
Right.
Fuck this shit up.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're doing. Then the first time,
Right, scratch the shit out of his record. So, you know, me being a computer person
Yeah.
and loving music,
Right.
it was easier for me to actually produce than being a DJ. So that's
Right.
how I got into that. So I used to make my own beats. and
Because
all
what's
that
the
stuff.
difference between DJing and producing?
Well, back then it was with turntables.
Okay.
So you're actually out there scratching on turntables
As a
and all
DJ.
that. As a DJ, as you know, as what I consider a real DJ.
Right.
Times have changed, so
Yeah.
you know, but that's what a DJ was. But for me,
For-
it was nothing to take an SB12 and sample a drum kick, and then use my, you know, put it to my S950 and sample a bass line and
Right.
filter the bass line and
You
then add
saying
the highs
words
and the
that
lows
like
from it.
S950,
All
that
right,
shit
so-
sound like a gun or a weapon or something. You
sampler.
just- what- yeah.
Kai,
So
it was
let
an
me-
older Kai sampler.
Let me see if I can explain it in layman's terms.
Right.
So
Because I was saying, what's the difference
the
between a
DJ,
DJ and a producer?
the DJ is a
That's what you was
live
telling me.
performer
Yeah.
who creates basically new sounds and new mixes live in front of you at a party, at an event, whatever. The producer is who's behind the scenes that makes the record. So they might take a sample from another record and they add a kit to it. They add different sounds. It's like when we've had producers on our show.
Yeah.
We've had Denzel and we've had I Am the Fame. Both of them are rappers, but they're also producers. They create music for themselves to rap on.
Right.
So similarly, at least from what I'm understanding, that's what you're saying that you do.
Yeah, yeah. And see, the person that really, you know, I thought I was the shit producing and rapping, and the person that really taught me a lot was Shy Skills, rest in peace. Shy Skills is the one that produced Onyx's first album, his whole first album.
Wow.
Shy
And-
Skills?
Shy Skills. And he introduced us to Jam Master Jay. At one time, I was running with Jam Master Jay, my squad.
Oh, wow.
Around the time when Cypress Hill Killer Man came out, he had us and Onyx, took us to some club in Brooklyn, had us battle everybody, you know, that came up.
Yeah.
You was rap battling.
Whoever Jam Master
Top
Jay
dog.
said the battle, we was battling in the club that night.
Like on some 8 Mile shit.
All right, going some 8 Mile shit.
Yeah.
Right then and there. And I thought I was nice, but you know, like we,
How old were you at this time?
probably around 19.
Damn, yeah, you was out there, yeah.
And we met this guy Goldfinger through Shy Skills. He on Jamaica Avenue. He had a studio,
Yeah.
and I guess I can say it now. it was because he owned a couple of stores and a pawn shop as well, and they sold weed out of it.
Right.
And like straight from Jamaica. This guy's Goldfinger's Jamaican, and I had never smoked weed until we started, hanging with them. And man, let me tell you, the best shit ever. I remember we was smoking with Beanie Man and somebody else, and they rolled up an ear of corn full of weed. I damn nearly died that way.
Gee,
that day.
What is an ear of corn?
An ear of corn.
Oh, an ear of corn. Oh,
Yeah.
Full of weed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you trying to kill a weak lung dude.
But then we met this guy, Born God Allah, and he was from Staten Island, and he was nasty. Through Born God, we met the rest of the Now Born clique, and that's the time when he given us the Wu-Tang tape with Protect Your Neck maybe about a year before Wu-Tang came out officially.
Really?
So we're on Main Street, we're playing,
bumping unreleased music.
right? But it was so damn hot. You know what I mean? We was playing it. I mean, we was carrying that big ass heavy radio that only one of us could hold for about maybe 10 minutes, and then
You wasn't carrying it on your shoulders?
No, this was about this high.
Oh, yeah.
So no, nobody was carrying on that shoulder. We was lugging it with two hands.
Yeah.
We had it
Dragging it with
blasting, right? Pass it to you now because now it's too heavy for me.
Yeah.
You got this now.
Yeah.
And that's how we was doing.
Everybody take a turn.
And we just
walking
played
up
that shit back to back like a whole day, and everybody's asking, "What's that? What's that?"
That was promotion back in the day.
That was promotion.
Going on the block and just
leave
bumping
us
the
to my
music all day long.
But let me tell you guys a story because
Talk to me.
through Goldfinger, a lot of people used to come to the studio because we leave the studio doors open while we were making beats and everybody
Yeah, what if
would
somebody-
come down there. And we met Cadillac Ty, who now Murder Inc. I produced his first song.
Wow.
And like I said, we ran with Onyx in them for a time. And Jam Master Jay wanted to sign this guy with us that rap with us called Tech 9. Not to be confused.
You're the Tech Nine.
Not another Tech
No,
Nine.
yeah, him and the other Tech Nine
I know a Tech Nine
Yeah.
song.
was like the same, but he actually wound up being the first on Onyx's "Throw Your Guns in the Air,"
Okay.
and I have that version of the song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they went to the studio in Brooklyn, and the name escapes me because back then we worked out some of the biggest studios. We worked out Unique. Unique was like Unique cost about $150 an hour, then $75 an hour for the engineer. And then you paid $200 for the 2-inch reel.
Where were you getting all this money from?
The guy Goldfinger was financing it.
Oh, yeah.
Goldfinger was selling a lot of weed. No,
He was doing his thing.
Yeah, man.
He was doing his thing, but he believed
Big
in it.
ups.
Right.
And the Tech was nice, and he caught the ear of Jam Master Jay, and he put him on the Onyx song. And then the thing is that Jay was like, "Look, we're gonna put Onyx out first, and then we're gonna put out Tech." But Goldfinger, because he spent the money for the song, he talked Tech into, "Hey, I'll put you out." So Jam Master Jay and them took Tech off the song. I mean, that
I see what
song
you're
was
saying.
so popular.
Yeah.
Every time he heard that song,
mistake. He made a
right,
mistake.
he made a mistake.
I bet you he regrets that to this day.
Yeah, he definitely does. Because when that song came out, and he was the first guy on the song.
Yeah, you would have been the first person you hear.
Right. And
He'd be famous.
And he was him and Sticky kind of had a little thing going, you know what I mean?
Sticky. You know how sticky it gets.
And
Who was Sticky?
Sticky Fingers from
Okay.
Onyx.
All right.
And it turned into a beef thing after a while because then, when there was an article, there was an interview with the Source magazine. The Source was a powerhouse at the time.
Right.
And they had called Tech up to hear his side of the story. And, Russell Simmons killed the story. Tech got blackballed,
Wow.
But then, like, how Nervous, Black Moon and Nervous Records, Nervous was a dance label that did hip hop, and they wound up with Black Moon and wound up making a ton of money. So a lot of these little dance labels were trying to pick up hip hop artists, and they picked up Tech, and Tech made this song called "Niggas Can't Fuck With This," totally ripping Onyx. And again, Goldfinger got in his ear and was like, "Yo, we don't need these guys. I'll put you out independently through the fucking reggae distributors." You know what I mean? We just made a series of bad mistakes.
Man.
But the very first performance that Tech had at the Biltmore Ballroom, it was like he performed there, and it was like 40 of us from Queens, all there, watching. And Wu-Tang was on after us.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was one of their earlier
You performed
performances.
on the same stage as Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes. And but the thing is, as soon as Tech finished,
Yeah.
we walked out. We didn't even stay to see Wu-Tang.
Why?
40, because we was just on some shit.
Wow.
We was on some Queen shit, and we all just walked out. And then
And what you mean on some Queen shit? Just on some gangster shit like drop mic, I'm out of here.
right? We performed, we out. Fuck
that's
everybody
why
else.
we here.
Right,
They
that's-
want to see
right,
us.
that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
here for.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so we walked out. Then Born God got the word from them, and they was like, "Damn, y'all was deep. Why didn't y'all stay and watch our performance?"
Right.
We wasn't trying to diss Wu-Tang.
Yeah, yeah,
because,
yeah.
I mean, we loved their shit, but we was
Right.
just on our shit, and we thought we was stars and shit.
Yeah.
So that was it with Tech. But I started producing. I really got into producing. I stopped rapping because I realized I didn't have the passion for it.
To keep writing bars.
Like some of these people had, and their shit kept sounding good, really good. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't me, but I'm gonna do the music. So,
You know, it's funny. I that's what happened to me when I was trying to rap too.
yeah,
Yeah, bro. I start writing shit, and then like that challenge of like continuing to write and going back to complete songs and shit. I said no, it wasn't for me too. But go ahead.
it
so then-
definitely wasn't me.
Yeah. But you could probably do it. You did it.
Yeah,
But
I did.
Some things we as human beings, we have a gift with certain things and it just comes naturally. Like Chinese kids in class and school and stuff.
Bruh.
They naturally can pass. I'm telling you, bro, their grades
Hold on.
they don't gotta study.
They study all the time.
Bro, no. I used to go to school with a dude, and if he's watching right now, named Kevin He. And Kevin He told me, he's like, I don't study. I was like,
explain
word.
something to you,
But
Todd.
some people just have an attitude
Bro,
for that.
all the
because-
Chinese
Todd.
dudes is smart.
Todd, you're only meeting Chinese people in America.
Don't lie. Don't.
I'm not lying.
There's not a
I was in
Chinese
class
person-
with them.
The Chinese
I was in the honors
people
classes.
start working at 5 years old. But keep going. Yes.
But like, I know
They
a drug
study,
dealer.
though.
I know a dude who sold
Tell me.
drugs who math was his shit.
Gifted.
Off the top of his head like that with no problem.
Gifted.
And he was a smart guy. He
Right.
just was broke and chose to sell drugs.
But yeah, Chinese people
know?
is very smart, bro.
Some of them.
That's
Some of
why. That's why everything. Like, look at your clothes. Probably made in China.
I mean,
You think the smartest ones are the ones in the factories making clothes? Those are the smart
Hey,
Chinese
bro,
people?
Right.
Bro,
No.
look at your
They're the ones
Sony
in Hong
PlayStation.
Kong
Look at your
running the country.
Look at your computer. Probably
Sony's
made in China.
Japanese.
Bro, I'm telling you,
Japanese.
bro.
but our people could have been the same
them
way.
dudes know how to chop through bricks,
No,
man.
you know what the difference is?
Bro, you have to be highly intelligent to focus your brain in that matter.
The difference is they have a family that pushes them.
Right.
Our families don't do
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Black families
Some-
don't do that
some
shit.
black-
Some
yeah,
black
yeah,
families
yeah,
do.
yeah.
My parents definitely pushed me.
Amen. It's vice versa. That's
you know-
why we're here.
you know-
But the
For,
average
for me coming up in the projects,
story.
like if I would have known now then what I know now,
Right.
all that money that I spent on weed and alcohol, I'd have put aside and bought a house.
You could have
Or put a down payment on a house. Because we used to,
Yeah.
drinking, smoking crazy. But there was nobody to tell us that, hey,
Right.
eat-
As a matter of fact, it's
Right.
encouraged.
Right.
It was encouraged in the culture.
Right, but
Oh, yeah,
and
now
that's
we
the
gonna
difference.
do this. It's like, bro.
and that's the difference. They know, and because their families know.
Yeah.
There's nobody that taught me investing. There's nobody that taught me stocks and bonds because my mother didn't know because her family didn't know.
Right, at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And over time, we collect
Right.
this information. But back to what you were saying, because I didn't mean to cut you out
No,
like that.
no, I mean,
but you
it's
said
all
boom. So then once you got into producing, you know what I'm saying? You knew it
Yeah.
didn't come naturally. Like you was like, yeah, this ain't for me. So then boom.
So I found, like I said, I had this artist, and we went into the studio, and the label TVT, that's the first label that put out Ja Rule.
Yeah.
And that was another dance label that got into hip hop.
oh, snap. Okay.
And they came to the studio. The A&R sat in the studio with us because they wanted to hear them.
Right.
And these guys got high and drunk and started dissing dude. Now,
Started dissing Ja Rule.
No, started dissing the A&R guy. White guy,
Oh,
little nerdy.
they didn't realize. who
No,
he
they
was?
knew it, but they were so fucking street and
They started wilding out on
right,
him.
not intelligent enough to be like, yo, this
This
dude
is an opportunity.
Right, he can change our life.
Right.
And
like
they
Jerry
started-
and,
right.
and NWA.
They started playing him.
Wow.
And so that deal fell through. But what happened was in '95, I put out a group called Crime Lords, which was
Okay.
kind of like Mobb Deep. And if
Right.
you do a YouTube search for Crime Lords, Criminal Thoughts,
Right.
and Tons of Paper,
Right.
you'll hear the song. And
Okay.
they were kind of on their Mobb Deep shit. And we got play on Hot 97. Shout
Oh,
outs
okay. Yep.
to Red Alert, because Red Alert played
DJ Red Alert.
everything with no money. Red Alert never asked for no money to play nothing.
Wow.
And I took it, you know, at the time we were pressing vinyl. And that, to me, that's the difference between now and then. Like, because today, you could wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want to rap.
Right.
Download some beats and
Right.
do everything from your house.
Right.
Then
Right.
you had to spend real money to press
Yep.
records and press CDs. So you and pay for studio time. So you only did that if you really believed you had talent. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because you had to come out the pocket.
You had to be really
And somebody had to
passionate.
believe in you to sponsor you sometimes too.
Right, right. So this was '95. I pressed up the records, and we took them to Fat Beats. And Fat Beats, as you know, or you might not know, was big in New York. It was by Grace Papaya in New York in the Village, and then they had a store in L.A. And they moved tons of stuff. And dude loved it, and he took it. And I got to shout out Al Bizarro for the VIP record pool in the Bronx, because he snatched them up. And DJs was playing the song. The song was hitting.
Yeah.
We got to perform with Keith Murray and LOD.
Okay.
Back then, and
You got the rap with these dudes.
yeah. I mean, we opened up for them, and I was on my Diddy shit. No Diddy.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
But just jumping on stage, just jumping on stage, I introduced them because, like I said, I was a ham back then. I was all about the limelight,
Right.
and that's what you do as a young dude. You
Yeah.
want all the women. You want to
be seen.
You want to be seen.
Right.
Now, not so much. Now I play the background.
There you go.
Like, this is new for me, being in front of the camera. And I'm not,
Yeah.
if I didn't have a couple of drinks, I would
Yeah,
have been
that's
as
what I'm
A little
comfortable
liquid
as I am now.
courage.
Yeah,
I had to hydrate you. You know what I'm saying? Water and Gatorade.
And then in '97, let me tell you about '97. '97, I put out this group called the East Side Hustlers.
Okay.
Again, Red Alert played it, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I used the Patrice Russian sample, "Forget Me Not."
Mm-hmm.
So
What you said? What do you mean? The Patricia?
Send me, forget me nots.
I use that.
Don't let you forget.
2 months later,
There you go.
2 months later, Beat Nuts came
That's what I'm
out with a
saying,
song.
Johnny. This is why I got Johnny here, because he can fucking relate to the shit that we could over.
Yeah.
Give me some, Chris.
2 months later,
Chris, don't leave me hanging. But go ahead. 2 months later.
2 months later, the Beat
Like
Nuts
that
came out with
moment.
the same sample.
Right. On the Will Smith track.
A month later, Will Smith came out with Men in Black. So it looked like I copied his shit, but we all three groups used
Everybody
the same
used
sample
the
at the
same
same
sample.
time. And of course, that was
And she was getting paid.
Yes.
She was like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it's crazy because, we were performing, and when we were performing, we had the girls singing on stage. People were going, Men in Black. And at the time, I hadn't even heard Men in Black yet. And I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? You know what I mean? What are they talking about?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then, Men in Black blew up because of the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean,
97 was a big year for Will Smith.
yeah. And Red Alert would play, he would play all three of them back to back. He
We
would
just
play
getting-
ours, he would play the Beat Nuts joint, and then he would play Will Smith's. He
Oh,
cut Will
man.
Smith off because that's not really what
Right.
he was into. you know
Right,
what I
right,
mean?
right.
And so that was my last vinyl. But I've been producing. I produced the last song that Stack Bundles, rest in peace, was on.
Rest in peace, Stack Bundles.
I produced the song that wound up on SWAT, CBS's SWAT.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
produced the
remember
song
SWAT.
that wound up in Versace
And
commercial.
so talk to me, right? So when you were producing these songs, were you getting cut a check?
I was getting a little money, not a lot, but I was definitely getting a little money.
Right.
I was there at the Rap Olympics in DC when Eminem got signed. So
Oh, yeah?
by Dre, yeah.
Wow.
You were at the Rap Olympics. What year was this?
I don't even know what year.
Probably like 90, 80.
Yeah, because
99.
I met Wendy Day, and if you've heard of Wendy Day,
Mm.
anybody who hasn't heard of Wendy Day should go and do a Google search on her.
I
because
got a Google searcher.
She is like, she was a main motivator in hip hop music. She was the one that helped Cash Money get their deal.
Okay.
Really?
And she was all about artist rights and all that stuff. Like, artists shouldn't be, having to pay DJs. Artists should have money aside for health insurance. Because
Yeah.
you see how many artists have been
Yeah.
Shot down.
Yeah,
I mean,
and,
they
and just in general,
They don't have it.
they don't have it
Because
right.
they're sitting there trying to produce
Artists
art.
don't have health insurance. Or
Yeah.
If you don't have a regular job,
Yeah.
if you paying all your expenses out of
Bro.
pocket,
And they're
you
not
ain't gonna
even
pay for
thinking
health
about
insurance.
things like that. You know what I mean? They're throwing money on the car, but they're not thinking about, oh, I'm going to need
Yeah.
something if I get sick. you
Right.
know?
Paying for benefits? What benefits?
And she used to throw these monthly
No
meetings
taxes.
at the ASCAP, at the
you gotta pay
at the
taxes.
ASCAP building. She would throw these monthly meetings. And they were free, and you come there, and you every month was a different topic. Well, I met her in DC that at the Rap Olympics because
At the Rap Olympics.
this is when BT was in DC
okay.
because somebody in there started shooting,
Oh,
and everybody's running, and
at the BET
yeah,
Awards.
yeah, not the awards. It was just BET at the because they're the ones that threw the Rap
Yeah,
Olympics.
yeah.
And everybody's somebody started shooting, and everybody's running, and me being from New York, we don't. Me and my man, we were running. We standing there because you
Yeah.
don't just
You
run
ain't
in no
even duck.
direction.
Yeah,
run.
You could run in the wrong direction.
So
if you do.
she was just next to me.
Did you duck?
I didn't know who she was. No, I just snatched her up and pulled her aside next to us.
Right.
She always counts me as the person that saved her life. But so that's why that's
Yeah,
how
you got
I
that
knew
Riz,
her.
yeah.
That's how I got to know her, which was
Yeah. Who'd you say? What was her name?
Wendy Day.
Wendy Day.
Look up her
Day.
name.
She's still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy Day. Shout out Wendy Day, man. He saved your life.
No, I
Gotta
didn't
cut
really
that
say-
check.
I just pulled her
She's still
aside.
alive. Why wouldn't she still be
No,
alive?
because he was saying rest in peace to a lot of people he was just talking about. So I had to make sure she wasn't
No,
one of
no,
them.
she's still there. She's still there doing her thing.
Wendy Day. Keep up the great work, Wendy Day.
So now you produced. You still haven't gotten to how you ended up where you are now. What are we missing? What's next in the story for you?
Next was,
produ-
next. Oh yeah. So I had a hip hop magazine called Hoodgrown,
Boom.
and
This is
this was. I don't even know the damn years because to me,
but
everything
this
is
is
like
this is after you're done rapping.
yeah. After like I'm done, I moved up here. I was still producing. I snatched up some of these local kids up here and was making songs with them. But
Yep.
I decided to do a hip hop magazine, and
Yeah, and you didn't snatch them up. You recruited them.
I recruited them.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with terminology these days. No
yeah,
Diddy.
yeah. I had to throw that.
No
in
Diddy,
there
no
'cause I'm
Drizzy.
a fucking comic.
No grooming.
Yeah, do you? He said I snatched these kids up when I came up
Well,
here.
they-
Nah, he recruited them. Don't worry, I know.
But
Right, go ahead.
I did the hip hop magazine, and the thing about that was that I got inspired by the Village Voice because my thing was my thing is always to promote my own stuff.
Right.
So I have to own the platform. Like like I said, I started a website called Hip Hop Now. Back in the days, there was a website called CD Now, and they were the music's the
Right.
place where everybody bought their music CDs.
Right. It was like a CD subscription type thing.
Yeah.
Right.
No, not even subscription. Just go there. It was kind of like Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Before that, because at the time Amazon was only doing books.
Right. Right.
Right. So CD
So we talking
Now.
like early 2000s.
Right. CD Now only had CDs, and that was the place where you go and bought your CDs. So I made Hip Hop Now.
Right.
And I was bringing in product from little indie labels around the world.
Right.
And selling their stuff through my website, and that's how I attracted a larger company that bought out mine. And I'm on the working for them. So that's how I got into the tech game. And my thing is to always own my own platform. So
Right.
All Hip Hop was the big one at the time, and I started my Hoodgrown, .com or whatever, and I started a magazine because I saw the Village Voice. And the Village Voice had a high circulation, over 1 million or something at the time,
Right.
and because they were free, they were ad supported, So I was like, damn, if I make a magazine that's free.
People can see it. You can
Right,
make
I can
paid
promote
on it.
anybody in the world. because-
Yeah.
and they'll snatch the magazine up because it's free.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can promote my artists along with doing,
Right.
major other artist stuff.
Right.
Right.
So that's what I did. I created a magazine called Hoodgrown.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I noticed is that because Village Voice was free, a lot of stores didn't give a fuck about it. So you'd see
Because
piles
they couldn't
of the
make any
Village-
money on
Right.
it, and they would just be sitting there.
Right. So what I did was I put at the time magazines were going for like $3.95 or some shit like that.
Put a reward.
I put a 50-cent charge on it and
Right.
told the stores they can keep it. So I wouldn't have any returns.
Right.
So I created my magazine, Hoodgrown, and the first person to help me was rapper MF Grimm.
Okay.
And he's an underground, favorite. And if you do a search for MF Grimm, because I know a lot of you young people don't know it. But he was getting
I'm
my
gonna check it out.
magazine in the barbershops and stuff throughout the city.
Yeah.
So the first issue came out, and we were on really good paper and all that, right?
Yeah.
First issue came out.
When you say really good paper, man,
Like,
you
you know,
get paid.
like-
No,
Yeah.
literal paper.
Paper.
It was
The
an actual
paper
physical magazine.
right.
Okay, yeah.
It shows you how young we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you was making
Because I know
bread, right?
magazines is not a thing.
He
for
said
this
I was
generation.
giving it away and they were charging 50 cents and I ain't want them back.
Yeah. So I charged 50 cents and I said, you can keep it. So that way they would display me because they
Right.
were making profit.
Right.
And I wouldn't take no returns back. So,
Right.
So after the first issue, I got a call from Shamia Miller. Shamia Miller was huge at the time. She was a friend of Oprah's, and she was games manager.
Okay.
And that's why we have Game on the cover of the second issue. And if you do a search for Hood Grown Magazine, you'll
You
see
have game.
Yeah,
The Game.
we have the game. This is
Game?
what-
Yes, the Game,
This
the
is
rapper.
when his album
Hated
first
to
came
Love
out.
Yeah.
because she was his manager. She got us a deal with Foot Locker.
Wow. So you was in every Foot Locker.
No, see, this is where
Oh, no.
I have ups and I have so many downs because I always get to that point, then something happens.
No, but we on the way.
That's life. That's life.
Yeah.
We on the way now. That's
Okay.
So
to the moon.
she put in the order so that when you bought, she did some type of deal so that when you buy sneakers, they'll give you a free copy of Hood Grown Magazine. The initial, when I was doing it and it was coming out of my pocket, I did maybe 5,000 copies.
Right.
It cost me about $7,000. She got an order for like 20, 30,000. My
couldn't
credit was
fulfill it.
bad. I couldn't fulfill the order.
Oh.
And I didn't have people that I could go to and borrow. And because
Right.
my credit was bad,
Right.
I
You
couldn't
couldn't
go
get a
to the
proof of the
bank
loan.
and get a loan to do it.
So she just hit you up and was like, "Yo,
I need 20,000 copies.
She had orders at Foot Locker. She made a deal with Foot Locker.
Right.
That would have been huge for us. If I could have
Right.
fulfilled that, who knows where
Right.
I'd be as far as the magazine game.
Right.
Then so I lost that deal. That deal
Right.
went through. Then Apple came out with their newsstand because they were introducing the iPad.
Right.
And the newsstand was a thing where the magazines was interactive and
Right.
you could press the button and they play.
Right.
Oh,
So I was the first black, and let me tell you,
talk that shit.
I was the first black publication, period, to have a magazine in the Apple newsstand. And
Really?
the thing is,
Christopher English.
yes, the thing is that at the time there was that software. Only Adobe was offering, and a couple of larger ones. Adobe, I asked them how much were they charging. They would have some ridiculous price, like $50,000,
Yeah.
whatever. I found this company from Germany.
Yep.
They hit me up because they knew what I wanted to do,
Right.
and they let me use their software for a year for free
Wow.
to put out Hood Grown Magazine, first interactive magazine.
Yeah.
So I named my company Tablazines, Tablet Magazines, Tablazines. Put out press releases and all that. It was the first hip hop magazine. And if you see all our covers, I mean, we have some artists. We interviewed Issa Rae before she was big, when she was still doing
Really?
YouTube stuff.
Wow.
Yes.
This is when.
This is. See, I'm bad with dates.
Yeah.
I can't tell
But
you.
I'm
this.
saying like around your age, Tom, 30s, because right now you in your 50s, right?
Yeah. I
It
would
sounds
say-
like you would have been in maybe your late 40s.
Yeah,
Excuse
it could have been.
Mid to late
It could
40s.
have been around that time.
Because if we're talking like the early tablet era, that's like between maybe 2010 to 2015.
Yeah, because
That
I had
realm.
one of the first iPads. So
Yeah.
the version 1. So
Soldier Boy. I'm the first.
we had it out. We were, like I said, the first black one, and then I introduced Maybach magazine because I always liked Jet and Essence.
Right.
So I wanted to get a little crowd that had a little more disposable, money
Income,
or whatever
right.
the case may be.
Yeah.
And then we introduced a magazine for the conservatives. I had my friend Kathy and her husband, and they're staunch conservatives, and they created a magazine. And so I had something aimed at everybody.
Right.
Right.
And then Apple backpedaled on the whole newsstand thing.
Right.
And so that was, no longer a thing. I I did because, and like I said, at the time I was with my kid's mother, and reggaeton was really big, and I was like, you know what, let me try and tap into this.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, I built a Latin music download site called Musica 360, and if you do a search, you'll find that. It came to the attention of Macworld magazine, and they did an article on me. Lowrider magazine did an article on me. We had this girl who was a comedian from HBO, Latina.
Yeah.
She was the face of it, but no money.
Yeah.
And you know, like I spent a week, going through every Latin music country, and finding every music publication and snatching their email address.
Yeah.
Oh, that was smart.
I might do Peru this week. Next week I'm doing
Consistent.
Venezuela. Yes, so I can get all that. So when we launch, I can send out emails to them saying, "Hey, you know, I got the music catalog from the Orchard, and at the time they were supplying e-music and they were supplying digital downloads to everybody, but with the exception of Apple, who was doing their own. But at the time, Apple iTunes wasn't even in Latin countries; it was only in America at the time when I was doing this.
Okay.
So like I got content from Cuba, you know, and my woman at the time, my kid's mother, and her sister translated the site to Spanish, so you could watch it. You know, you could view it in English or you could view it in Spanish.
Yeah, that was
Right.
smart.
People in Spain, they hated the Spanish because they said it was
wasn't-
gutter Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
I
It wasn't the
always
same
got
type of-
complaints from people
Gutter
from
Spanish.
Spain.
Yeah, it's like
Just different slangs.
Yeah,
right. It's
yeah.
like the way UK people view American.
American
All
English.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tomato,
not necessarily.
tomato,
You can't read an accent with the
aluminium,
words.
you know, that kind of stuff.
They use different words, different
Right.
slang.
Okay.
And they hated. They really hated the translations. But then we came to Latina magazine hit us up.
Right.
And they were like, you know, we like the site. We you know, they wanted to invest, so they had a meeting. And when we came through, you know, I had them come through because they worked at Clear Channel.
Yeah.
And then I came in, and they couldn't believe. They asked if I was Panamanian.
Right,
Like,
right.
no,
They're
no,
like, oh, yeah,
I'm-
you gotta
I'm
be.
black. But you
Americano.
know, they couldn't believe a black man was the one that had done this. So they
Yeah.
was asking me tech questions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I answered with no problem. You know, they
Right,
were
right,
trying to
right.
test me to see
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I really did this.
Yeah.
Yes, this is me. Black folks, we can do anything we want to. And it don't matter whether you were born in the projects or whatever the case may be. We got that drive. I think if anything,
we got them roots.
right, and we have a drive to succeed always.
Yes.
It's in the veins. It's in the blood system.
So we were supposed to get offers. We were supposed to get $1 million up front. We were supposed to have offices on Wall Street, part of their offices.
Right.
And we went through a series of meetings. And in the final meeting, some big wig came through and said, "Oh, Latinos don't like to download music. They like to stream it, for, you know."
Yeah.
And killed the deal. And I was heartbroken. And, you know, it was costing me.
It was that no. It was
Yeah.
that second no or first no.
It was that the first note that
Yeah.
that you know what I mean, that kind of broke me because
Yeah.
I was paying a ton of money to host all these videos and
Right,
music,
right.
and I couldn't sustain that, you know,
Right.
not from a 9 to 5.
No.
So I let the site go.
Right.
I you know, closed it down, and we were getting press. We got some press in the New York Post, and
Yeah.
like I told you already about Lowrider and all that. So that was my third thing. You know, it was like, all right, I done tried this now.
Yeah.
So
Boom. We on a journey.
yeah. So again, I'm back to the music, and I asked a few people how much to do a music video,
Right.
and you know, they gave me some ridiculous fucking price, and I'm like,
How
nah.
much? Like,
Yeah, you know, I'm like, nah, I'll learn how to do this,
Right.
right.
and I'll shoot the videos for my artists on my label.
Right.
But you know, once I started shooting the videos, once I started really getting into this shit,
Right.
I didn't want to shoot music videos. I don't want to have a bunch of ghetto niggas pointing guns at the camera.
Yeah. Talk about it. Talk
Yeah.
about it.
You know what I mean? That's not my shit.
Krah!
And some other dude that I was
This
messing
shit not a
with,
joke.
he was telling me that, hey, he shot a video for these blood niggas, and then the Crip niggas got pissed at him and started, you know, shooting at him during the video shoot.
During the video. Oh my goodness.
And it's like,
No.
see, I
That's
don't
dangerous.
need none of that shit. Like,
No.
Right.
You know, and I've always been a big sci-fi person because
Right.
that's just, you know, I think I always said that I was born in the wrong time. I should have been born around where shit was like Star Trek. I'm such a techie that's what I'd love to be. I'd love to be on the ship flying somewhere. So I do that shit. I don't, even with my filmmaking.
Elon Musk.
You know, right. Even with my
Take off
filmmaking,
out of space.
I don't do hood films. I don't do that
Right.
ghetto shit. I came from that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I came from the crack era in the 80s where niggas was sleeping in the bathtub because bullets was flying around at night. And at night the projects was empty.
Because bulls was flying around.
Bullets.
Yeah,
Bullets.
bullets. Yeah.
Bullets. Because it was crazy. And anybody that's been through it in the 80s, especially in Queens, knows what it was like to live through that shit. So I don't
Right.
glorify that shit. If I'm going to do a hood movie, it's going to be from a different point of view. It's going to be from the people, and I'm thinking about doing one, and it's going to be from the people that are affected by it. The ones that just want to go to school
Right.
and get out the hood.
Right.
So I got a question for you. Well, Todd, you had a question too.
No,
I was gonna
because he
ask.
was just before you go with that question, you're saying not glorifying the hood and stuff, but
No, not glorifying the hood, not glorifying the violence in the hood.
Got you.
That's
Isn't
my thing.
isn't one of your productions is hood filmed?
Hood grown.
Okay.
Grown.
Hood grown,
That's because you
because-
grew up in the hood. Don't
Right.
mean
Hood
that you
grown.
are a hood
Right.
person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like doesn't mean you're
That's hood
Yeah.
grown.
And
So I done grown.
I mean that to be
I done
inspiration to
elevate.
anybody.
Yes,
It don't-
hood grown.
it don't matter where you come from.
Yeah.
You can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be what somebody says you are.
Yes.
Just
Right.
because you're from the hood doesn't mean you're ignorant. Just
Right.
because you're from the hood doesn't mean you're ghetto.
Right. Because I was born in the hood. Yeah.
Right. me
Speaking
too.
of the hood and hood movies,
Yeah.
one person who's been able to capture that energy of the hood, but also express kind of just a different perspective, like you want to display, is Spike Lee.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Spike Lee films?
For me, Spike Lee films have always been hit and miss.
Okay.
You know, like I loved coming up. I loved what was that, Mo Better Blues, Denzel's first performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's Gotta Have It. School Days was a classic. When I was coming up, everybody was in the School Days. But then, you know, like New Jersey Drive, and I don't even know if that was strictly his, but I wasn't a fan of that.
You wasn't a fan of New Jersey Drive?
No, I wasn't a fan of New Jersey Drive.
Yeah. Have you seen
Todd,
that
you
one?
look so disappointed.
Have you seen that one, John?
No.
That's a good one.
My favorite one is
It's about them stealing cars back in
Yeah.
the day.
I'll have to check it out. My favorite Spike Lee film is Crooklyn. I don't know why. I just like it.
And I didn't see Crooklyn.
just like Crooklyn.
I think
It's good.
I think sometimes and he's a genius. So I can't. First of all, I can't knock him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I don't want to knock those who came before who opened the door for us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just feel sometimes they're heavily stylized, and that's him.
That's his style. Yeah,
That's
it
his
is.
style.
That's the way he
You
tells
know
the
what
story.
I mean? That's,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's him. And I don't knock him from him being him. Is you know, not everybody's style I'm a fan of.
Right.
I like some of his movies.
Right, yeah.
Some of his movies I don't.
Are there producers that you like? Is there any producer that makes movies now? It's famous, or maybe made movies in the past that you would like to make films like in the vein of?
You know who I really like?
Who?
And his movies speak to because I'm a graphic designer, his films speak to the artist in me. Zack Snyder.
Really? Okay.
His stories.
What's one of his top movies?
300.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
The artistry in that
stories
movie is
are
incredible.
so. I mean, 300 was great. He's been hit or miss with Justice League. Like I
Right.
like the 4-hour version of Justice League.
I've
But
heard it was a much better movie.
Yes, his slow motion, his use of slow motion, his dark color palette, the way he shoots, his stories suck. Like Rebel Moon, I wanted to love so badly. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, he's bringing his vision here,
Yeah.
and he's not the best writer. But when it comes to a visual style,
Right.
his visual style is distinct. 300 is distinct.
Right.
You know, there's things that he does with color and stuff, and you know why he does it. Or
Yes.
some people might not realize why he does what he
Right.
does. You know what I mean? And his style really speaks to me. Like,
Right. So from a cinematography
Yes.
standpoint, you love it.
yes.
But from a story standpoint, you're like,
I'm always disappointed because I want him to win. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
I
I
want
feel
him
you.
to have. I always root for the underdog.
Right.
I want him to have that win. And like I was hoping Rebel Moon was going to be that win for him, and then when I watched this, oh my God, no! You know, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, like he is not living. He's one that I feel if he can get a really good writer,
Right. Yeah, collaborate on a team. Because
Yes,
that's the key,
yes.
like having a good team behind
and
you.
you know
to
that's
create
what
something
that's
amazing.
the criticism that Tyler Perry gets, because Tyler Perry writes everything himself.
Right.
And with
Right.
this
What do you
latest-
think about Tyler Perry?
The first time I ever seen Tyler Perry, and I didn't know it was Tyler Perry, was the plays.
Right.
I went to visit my father, and my father had his plays on videotape.
Take
Right,
my glasses
right.
off for this one, because what did you think about
and
Tyler Perry?
I said, he's a black
I'm a
man.
fan of Tyler Perry.
He's a black man that he's doing his thing. He's helping other black people come up. Or how many actors from Taraji on down to this
Right.
other guy said that they would never pay what they were worth until
Tyler
they
Perry.
worked for Tyler Perry.
Another black billionaire.
Tyler
Right.
Perry, he got a big studio in Atlanta. He's
Yes.
doing-
Yes.
Yeah.
But everybody
he done made
complains.
his dreams come true.
Yes.
At
Well,
a high
But the
level.
major complaint against him that all his movies have become the same.
Yes. I've kind of felt that way for a long time.
It's a
actually.
sequence. It's the same, like I guess actors and
It's a
stuff like
formula.
that. But it's like that's like saying basically like all of Marlon Wayne's movies are the same. He's a comedian. You get what I'm saying? So Tyler Perry, like everybody
Yeah,
has.
I don't know if it's the same.
Everybody
Todd.
has their
Yeah.
own like.
I would say
No,
it's
but
different.
literally, Tyler Perry's latest movies are literally being black woman victim, black male,
Right,
the
yeah.
aggressor.
Right.
I see, what you're
And
saying,
that's
yeah.
the format that he's been
Yeah.
following.
It's
Yeah.
and that's sometimes he'll change the setting.
Right.
He'll change the city. He'll
But
put them in the
it's
woods.
Still that.
It's still because
Black
but you
woman
know
victim.
what? It sells.
Yes.
He knows his audience that's going to consume the most of his movies.
And that's what he stated.
So Tyler Perry does for black movies what Disney is doing for superhero movies. They found
Right.
something that worked. For him, his biggest break was Diary of a Mad Black Woman when it first came out. And then he just kept going with the Medea movies. And then he has other projects that he has, but they're in a similar vein and similar format to Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Right.
They're just not. I can't speak for all of them because I haven't seen them all. I can't say they're all better or worse than that. And he has some really good ones. I liked what was the one where it was like
Medea.
Janet Jackson was in it,
Yeah, I know.
You know
the
what I'm
one
talking about,
But
right?
I don't remember the name.
and they were all several couples. Why Did I Get Married?
But yeah,
That one that was a good. Why Did I Get Married? Why Did I Get Married too? Great movies, but I see exactly what you're saying. You know, and Disney's doing the same thing. That's speaking of hot topics because we always like to talk about modern topics.
Absolutely.
And you're a sci-fi person, so I would guess that you've seen some of these superhero movies that we've been flooded
Oh
with. for
yeah,
the
I'm a
past.
huge comic book fan.
So
'cause I used to draw.
as a comic book fan and a movie fan, how do you feel about the casting of Robert Downey Jr. into the MCU again as Doctor Doom now?
All right, so I have mixed emotions about that. You know, for the movie going audience,
Yes.
to them that's probably weird. You know what I mean? Because movies don't tend to do that. You know what I mean? Not especially with somebody who we came to know and love as Iron Man,
Right.
right? The comic books not so much, because in the comic book, because he's playing the variant of Doom.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. And from what I hear, the Fantastic Four movie doesn't take place in
Same
the actual,
time period.
Right. In the actual Marvel Universe. It's a variant of it. So in the comic books, Iron Man, Doctor Doom has been Iron Man. Iron Man
vice
has
versa,
and
yes.
vice versa.
Right.
So coming from the comic books, that's not that weird.
But what do you mean?
In the movie, or what do you mean?
Doctor Doom has been Iron Man and Iron
Yeah,
Man.
Doctor Doom has been Iron Man. He's
In the comics.
In the comics, he's been Iron Man.
He switched bodies with Tony Stark one time.
Yes.
Oh.
And so they lived their own. They, at least in the one comic
Some
I
Freaky
saw.
Friday shit.
Yeah, he in that one comic I read that instead of Reed Richards being his roommate, Tony Stark was, and so then he realized how smart Tony was and how blessed he was to come from where he was. So he invented a machine, tricks Tony into like volunteering for the machine, traps him, switches bodies, and Tony wakes up and gets deported to Latveria and has to live where Doom is from.
Right.
And Doom takes Tony's body and money and influence, creates his own Iron Man suit. Meanwhile, Tony lives in Latveria, starts improving their economy, and creates a Doctor Doom suit for himself.
Right.
And then they end up having a fight.
Right.
Oh.
So for those of us who are comic book fans,
Never knew that.
it's not,
I just learned.
and that's
Yeah,
that's
that's
where it's
dope.
coming from. And a lot of people
Johnny Goat.
that are claiming to be comic fans don't know the comics. don't really know the comics, they may have picked up an issue or two.
Right.
And like I said, for movies, this is something different. But I mean, people are always saying that Marvel is following the same path and they should switch shit up. Mm-hmm. You can't switch it up any more than this. It's like, this is different. Mm-hmm. And he's going to play the hell out of it.
Right.
So, I mean, we heard the same shit when we heard Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. Everybody was like, oh, what the fuck?
But there was no precedent for Heath Ledger's characters in that role. So
Right.
I think what was interesting about that was Heath Ledger was used to playing this pretty boy type
Right.
look.
I mean, before the Joker, he was the gay cowboy in Brokeback Mountain.
Right.
Oh shit, for real?
Yes.
Yes.
So that people were all up in arms about Heath Ledger playing the Joker.
Yeah.
They was like, oh,
Compared
he's
to
gonna-
Jack Nicholson's
Right.
Joker, which is
Right.
hard to measure up against.
And they thought he was going to fuck it up because
Yeah.
He's gonna
they
do something.
couldn't
killed it.
envision the gay cowboy
Yeah,
as the
being
Joker.
Right.
The Joker is kind of like freaky and weird himself.
right. And
Right.
when they saw
And now
that,
he's the best.
when they first
version.
saw that first image of
Yeah.
him, and it said why it's so
Sheesh,
serious,
no
Yeah.
the internet went crazy.
Yes.
And then they started leaking little,
still obsessed with
little
it.
clips of him, and Heath Ledger killed it. They said the same thing when Ben Affleck was going to play Batman. They were
Right.
like, "Oh, he fucked up Daredevil. Why are you going to give him Batman?" But in all honesty, the fight scene in Batman versus Superman when he was fighting the henchman.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's probably Batman's best fight scene ever. That's how Batman. When you picture Batman kicking ass, that's how you picture him kicking ass.
Yeah, it's at the limit of what is humanly possible,
Right.
And it's a little exaggerated,
Right. But
because it's shot that way, it was shot very
right.
well.
It was shot very well, and
Yeah.
then people accepted him.
Right.
So right now everybody's up in arms,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I think there's a contingent of people online that get they're doing their little YouTube videos and they're doing their little TikToks,
Yeah.
and they get more followers by saying something negative.
Controversy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to have the
This is gonna
action
Marvel's new
comments.
movie is gonna suck
Because
so
of the
now
movie,
now
yeah.
they get a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's easier to be negative, and you get more followers being negative than actually waiting to see if you really like it. So I
Are you looking forward to it?
want to see it. I'm curious about it.
I have a strange perspective on this one because I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. We all fell in love with his role as Iron Man.
Yes.
I
love Iron Man.
I think great stories have great endings.
Yes.
And if you do not allow a story to end, it will eventually fall apart. That's how I feel. And so I think that obviously they offered him an amount of money that he couldn't refuse.
And he actually wanted to get back into the MCU.
I think
too.
so. I think he had that little desire
Nothing
to
has worked from him,
Right.
in movie wise since then. Dr.
Yeah, Doolittle and all this other stuff.
He hasn't had the success he's
Yeah.
had since he left there. So
I
I'm
agree.
sure he wants a piece of that back too.
I think, but here's my thing. I think it would have been more compelling. I think they did it for marketing. I think it would have been more compelling if they didn't reveal who Doom was. And you don't see who Doom is, and then you get into the movie and it's this mystery of who's Doom, and then they reveal it in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
They would have gotten so much as soon as it released in theaters. Maybe that might not have had the biggest opening day, but people would have blown it up that weekend, been like, "Wait, Robert Downey Jr. in the movie!" Oh, their heads would have exploded.
But you know how it is.
But now they're going to use him to market it,
Right.
And they're going to lean too heavily on his face because Doom uses the mask like 99% of the time.
Right.
Some versions he has like scarring, sometimes he doesn't. But it's like he should be in the mask,
Right.
And now it's like we're all gonna know who Doom is, so it's not a mystery. It's like, all right, they're gonna make Robert Downey Jr. be everywhere, do a huge press tour, and blah 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 blah, and rinse, recycle, repeat. That's what I'm afraid of.
But right now the time is a little different,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it is with music. In music, if you don't sell these huge numbers in the first week,
Right,
they
right.
consider you a failure. So people think you failed, they won't
That's
try your
true.
music.
That's true.
So now that people know that he is going to be Doom,
I think it's gonna be amazing,
right?
Da, 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 da.
And you'll go to watch it to hate it,
Right.
or you'll go to watch it to love it.
Right.
So those
And
first
I'll wait for it to
week
come out on
numbers,
Disney Plus.
Marketing
Yeah.
strategy.
those first
Yeah,
week
yeah.
numbers
Yeah,
are
It's
going to be
100% marketing.
are going to be
marketing.
huge for them.
Yeah.
And that's what they want, so that it looks like a success. Because if they can say, "Oh, the movie made $80 million in its first week,"
in his first day.
Right, in his first day, then more people are going to go out to the movie to see it. If they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
they only made 20 million,"
Yeah.
then
Right.
people are going to write it off and say,
And I think that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
I think they're afraid because people I have superhero fatigue. We've been like when I was younger, like the first superhero movies I really got into was probably maybe the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I was about to
In
say
01.
you can't leave out the Spider-Man.
But we've been watching the MCU since 2007.
Yeah, and
So
you
that's
don't
what
realize how long it is.
17 years we've been watching Iron Man and Captain America and all those characters.
Right.
So I'm a little tired of it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And there's plenty of stories in the comics. I think people have to be brave enough to write an original story. Take a story that's really cool and make a good movie.
Yeah,
Don't worry about the formula.
Yeah, you see, and I understand that. See, when I grew up as a kid, I was coming up in the 70s and the early 80s.
Right.
So, we had Lou Ferrigno Hulk.
Right.
And on Lou Ferrigno Hulk, we had this Wild Thor.
Bill
and this-
Bixby.
Right. And then we had this Captain America movie with the
Yeah.
clear shield and
Yeah,
him
yeah,
on
yeah.
the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right. Then we had the bullshit Spider-Man. We had the bullshit
Yeah,
Flash.
it wasn't-
So when the
Nike's
whole
Flash was
MCU,
all right.
it was all right.
It was all right.
When the whole MCU thing started, now
It was
me
cool.
as a comic book fan, all the stories that I saw and read as a kid can be done properly.
Yeah.
The special effects were up, and it was amazing at the time. You know, it was like
Still is.
it really is because I'm still excited.
So-
like I want to see World War Hulk.
Yes.
I would love
That
for the
would be
next
interesting.
movie to be World War Hulk.
Yeah.
Feige said that now they're in a position where they could do X-Men versus Avengers.
True.
I want to see X-Men versus Avengers.
I'll go to we'll go to see that together.
Yeah.
I will see that
Yes.
for sure. Todd, you
Like-
coming?
yeah,
You gonna be in it?
definitely. Definitely. Listen,
I didn't need the
I'm
Eternals.
taking Jonathan Major's spot. Mark my words now.
I didn't need the
You know what I'm
Eternals.
saying?
Yeah, I don't.
You know, DC, I know they had planned. I would have loved to see the New Gods movie from DC.
That'd have been interesting.
That would have been really interesting. I mean, basically, the New Gods and the Eternals are created by the same Jack Kirby, and they're
Aren't
basically
they based off each other?
Yeah, they're basically Thanos is basically Darkseid.
Right, yeah.
The Eternals is basically the New Gods.
Yep,
I mean, and, they're like the same damn thing. But DC doesn't, as movie wise, doesn't go as far in their cosmic thing. I'm sick of seeing Dark Phoenix because it should have been. They did it wrong two times.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that story is a great story.
Right.
But now we don't want to see that shit no more. We
Yeah, we're
want
tired
something
of it.
different.
Yeah.
And as far as like I'm sick of seeing the Joker and Batman now. The Joker has a million fucking, has a huge list of villains that he could fight. I'm sick
Batman,
of
yeah.
seeing the Joker.
Yeah.
They made an allusion to that the Scarecrow was going to be the next villain in the upcoming Batman. We've already seen the Scarecrow. Why can't we do something different?
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing Lex Luthor
So-
and Superman.
Right.
Well, I mean, who do you want to see? Amazo?
No, I don't want to see them. But how about Brainiac?
That would be interesting. He
Brainiac?
hasn't been in a major film.
Yes.
They did really good with the animated show
Yes.
with Brainiac. I
Yes.
think that was one of the best interpretations of him.
Yes.
They've done Brainiac in the CW shows, but I do not like any of those.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
So now back to Christopher English and your filmmaking and movie producing.
All right.
Yeah, I want to ask you
Our
this
nerd rant
question.
for a second.
What got you, like, where do you get your thought process? Where does your thought process come from when it comes to like creating these films and writing these films that you come up with in your head?
I guess from everything because I read everything. I watch everything. Like I have a subscription to every streaming channel out there.
Right.
I read damn near every damn comic book that I can.
Right.
I don't read books as much as I used to because I used to read them on the subway. And,
Yeah.
that's not a thing here. But like I said, I used to draw comic books. I used to write comics.
Yep.
So I've always had a vivid imagination. Like in school, like I said, I went to a school where creativity was rewarded.
Yeah.
So like when we had to do a report on Macbeth, instead of doing a traditional report like everybody else did, I did a Macbeth comic book.
That's cool.
When I had to do a report on the Revolutionary War,
Yeah.
instead of just doing a report like everybody else did, I did it as a newspaper from the time.
Oh, that's actually really creative.
You going out the box.
Yeah.
You always
Getting that A+.
Yeah, I always got rewarded for going out of out being out of the box.
Yeah.
So I've always been creative, which is I guess why I got into graphic design. So I do my own design. As you see, I do the designs for our stuff.
Christopher English Designs.
Like I said, I'm such a control freak.
Right.
I don't trust anybody else to do anything for me.
Right.
This is why I don't go to hosted platforms like Shopify when I was doing my site.
Right.
I'd rather host it myself. So I'll take an open source something off the package and modify it to meet my needs.
Right.
And I pay one time instead of paying a monthly fee
For
to
a subscription.
Shopify.
Yeah.
The only thing I pay is my hosting.
Right.
You know, and that's the control freak in me.
Yeah.
But I know what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So it's the same thing with the film. Like from the comic books that I've done,
Right.
I have so many ideas.
What are some of the films that you have out right now? And then talk about some of the films you have out right now, maybe, and then like some of the films you're working on, if you don't mind telling the people.
I don't
about
really
that a little bit.
The only thing that I'd want to put out there, because my whole mobile filmmaking channel
Yep.
is on YouTube. If you look for mobile filmmaking on YouTube,
Mobile filmmaking on YouTube. Yep.
you'll see my journey.
Yep.
My first film on there is a sci-fi film that I filmed with the Android phone that I had. And from
With
then
the Android phone. Yep.
yeah. So from then on, I just kept studying, kept learning everything I could, and
That's
still
what I'm
making,
saying. That's how.
Yeah.
That if somebody wants to start, you could start.
Yes, you don't-
Whatever you have, start.
You see, let me tell you, there's a difference between, and I don't mean this in a racial way, but a lot of the old guard has been white, and their thing to success is, I have to have this camera, or I have to have this. I need this angel investment money to do this.
Anybody though in any category of like any sport. Put it like
and
that.
it's like
Yeah,
I have to go to the film festivals.
challenges.
This round, and I can't make a movie for less than $50,000, 50 to 100. Meanwhile, black filmmakers, we know nobody's giving us money.
Right.
Whatever we have in our pocket, because we have that hustle, and that's that hood hustle. We're out there doing what we have to do. All these guys that are on Tubi are making a killing, and they're coming out with these movies that they spent $5,000 on.
Right.
Some spent $500.
Right.
Some of the sound is shitty.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes the cinematography is shit. The thing is, they're doing it though.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're improving because you
Right.
see the first one might be really shitty, but they've learned from that one.
Yep.
And now the second one improves on that. They're not
made a little
waiting.
money and they can
right,
improve
and
and upgrade.
right, and they step it up. They're
That
not
sound familiar.
waiting. Yes,
Yes, that's exactly what
One
we doing.
Life.
right. They're not
Episode
waiting for
15.
somebody to give them money to do this stuff.
Right.
We have that drive. We're gonna do it.
Absolutely.
And that's, to me, that's like a lot of people shut down the black cinema section of Tubi, but that's been the most popular section. That's what drove Tubi to the heights that it is now.
Right.
Because you go into any Tubi group on Facebook, it's about 10,000 files. Each group has about 10,000 files. 90% of the movies they're talking about
Are the black movies.
are the black movies.
Yeah.
They're engaged in a way that's never been engaged before. These young filmmakers are taking this money, this little $5K that they're spending,
Right.
and making money. Like
Making
this
something
is
happen.
This is like the new mixtapes
Yeah.
now for black folks.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're really making it kill you. And
Through Tubi.
people will sit down and that's that's why Tubi has grown. Tubi won't admit the fact, but they know the black cinema section is one of the most popular sections there, period. And there's this show out of Detroit called The D, The Dirty D.
Right.
And this
It's on Tubi.
It was on Tubi.
Yeah.
Peacock picked it up for the third season. So
Oh.
Peacock has seasons 1 through 3 out now.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of Tubi people are saying, you let us get you to a certain point and now you left, but you should be happy in the success
Yeah.
of our black folks.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We got to
So-
celebrate each other.
Right.
Right.
So
Amen.
we're that same hustle
Black
is applying to
excellence.
films. And I want to do the same thing. What they're doing in Detroit, I want to do in the Poconos.
Yeah.
I want
You're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want somebody to come and say, hey, who's that lead male and lead female actress in your movie? You think they'll do my movie? Of course they'll do your movie. But you got to pay them this amount. And they'll be there.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
it.
what I want. Your success is from people, you doing stuff beyond me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I may have been the first ones to
Right.
work with you.
So right now you're working on a film right now.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
What's the name of the film?
High Value Man. You know, we're kind of playing off the whole Kevin Samuels thing. And this,
Right.
you know, as a indie filmmaker with not a lot of money and, you know, marketing is going to be a little limited, but why not play off something that's,
Yeah.
you know, has a little controversy with it. And when people see the name High Value Man, because that's almost synonymous with Kevin Samuels, they'll be like, oh, what's this about? And it's a romantical, I take your word, it's a romantical comedy, you know, and people say romantic comedies don't do so well. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Either way, you're creating opportunities for other young black people.
Yes.
Amen.
You're making something, you're creating something, you're dialing in your filmmaking skills, your sound mixing, your cinematography. So either way, whatever happens out of this is growth for you and all your actors.
It's light.
Speaking of whom,
And I had
speaking of
distributors
whom,
lined up already.
you have your leading star actor in here.
Right.
Now this is your debut role, Todd. So
Yeah.
now we're gonna flip the camera on you for a second.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
do you feel?
Fly like baby girl, I like planes. If you catch me at the if it gonna my hey.
How's been your experience with working with Christopher with the script and directing
Hey
you?
man, I just want to tell you and the world watching right now, Johnny Goat, man, this experience has been nothing but exciting. Each time that I lay down at nighttime and I think about the moments that I'm getting to experience through this process and this journey in my life, it gets me excited, man. And it's just been exciting and like fun to live through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what character I was given when he gave it to me, I was ready to just rock and roll and
Right,
take
because
that
you were originally going to
opportunity.
play the Diddy character.
Yeah, and I was ready to just rock and roll and play and take my opportunity, you know what I'm saying, and just execute. You get what I'm saying? Because I prayed for moments like this to just be involved in the entertainment and movie roles and stuff like that. And like I said, like to many other people, I didn't even have to audition technically for this, and we met through good friends and good people, and God just did this and put things together as he always does. When you know are a great person and you stay thankful and give thanks and stay patient, you know what I'm saying, on your journey, eventually in due time things will start to connect. And that's how I feel about right now. I feel like things are connecting in different categories of the journey, and this is a big moment, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, no matter how it turns out, you know, the ball is rolling now, and you know, that opportunity, that first shot has been taken, you know what I'm saying? And it's exciting, man. I'm excited, and I feel great, and I just want to thank you once again for giving me that opportunity, you know what I'm saying?
And I think I found the secret sauce for actors, because I was prepared for it to be kind of sucky on the end with the acting. You know what I mean? But everybody out there, the secret sauce is to get podcasters and models.
Yes.
People that are
Yes.
used to being in front of the camera
Yes.
and on shy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when you ask your friends to do it, they might not.
No.
You know, as a low budget filmmaker,
Yes.
a lot of times you're forced to use your friends and everything, and
Yes.
some of them might not have the charisma you need, but get a podcaster,
Yeah.
or get a model. People
Yes.
that are used to being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You would,
And that won't look in the lens
Right,
every
right.
time the camera.
You wouldn't think that him and Alexis and Valencia has active training, but you wouldn't think that Todd and Alexis are holding their own right along with her, and it's because they have a certain personality. They have an outgoing personality. Even Will, who's playing the High Value Man, he has an outgoing personality, which is why he's been my main actor in every little sci-fi thing I call. From the time when I was using the little camera, I'd be like, "Hey, I got an idea.
Right.
Wear this spacesuit. We're over there, in the park, and he has this big ass spacesuit on, walking around, and people are like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he don't care,
Right.
And that's the
Doing
type
his
of
thing.
personalities that
Getting the job done.
getting the job done. Some
Yeah.
people might have been nervous. Everybody's looking at them, but that's the secret sauce. Get people who are used to being in front of the camera.
Yes. And there are people out there.
Yes.
I'm on I'm on several casting sites, and people are always looking.
Yeah, Jonathan Horn, aka Johnny Goat, man. He does voice acting.
Oh
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
that's
he's
my
a
day
voice
job,
actor, yeah.
and my night job, and my weekend job. No, but yeah. So there's always either side. If you are looking for actors as a producer or as a director, or if you're looking for work as an actor or voice actor or model, make as many accounts online as you can, network with people, find people, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, follow people that you want to work with, stay in touch with them, communicate with them, because I guarantee you there will opportunities will be presented to you, but you need to be prepared for the opportunity
Right.
to have the skills ready, and then on top of that, you just have to have an open enough schedule so that you can change things around and be there. Because if you have all the skills and you're not available,
Right.
you're not going to get to work. If you're available and have no skills, you might get to work, probably going to suck, but you can get better. You know what I mean?
Right.
But either way, you need the communication, the skills, and the availability.
Yeah.
And they can be useful.
And I get so many emails and things now from actors and actresses
Yeah.
looking to be in the films.
Oh, there's always people looking for work.
Yeah, and the thing is that right now I'm not paying them.
Right.
And, that's what happens a lot on your first time indie film.
What did Drake say? Started from the bottom now, yeah.
But also, I put it into a place that
Right.
every time we hit a certain sales plateau,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get paid per day for whatever work they put in.
There you go.
So
You
it's
make
not
arrangements to take care of them.
right. It's not like, oh, okay, now we done made 40,000. Well, that's in my pocket now. No,
Right.
they have to be taken care of.
Right.
And the next time we start the second movie, and that's what my hope is, that when we do our second movie, I want to be able to pay them from when we start our second movie.
Right.
We're going to start the second movie probably right after this one is out. But
High value man.
and it's going to take high value man, and it's going to take a little time to get money back from
Right.
the distributors.
Right.
But I want to come to them and say, here's a check.
Right.
And and the same way you see the same Tubi Detroit, you'll see the same actors in mad movies.
Yeah.
I want the same for them. I want their worth to go up so much that
Right.
I won't even be able to afford them at a
Right,
certain
right.
point. But to me, it's like, okay, you know what?
I mean, hopefully
day
you be
ones.
big enough filmmaker where you
Day
can
ones.
still
Yeah,
afford them. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Day one's
Yeah.
never, what I mean? That's a strong bridge.
It is.
You could cross whenever, man.
So speaking of actors, this is a perfect segue into where we have a segment we prepared just for you today.
Oh, all right.
Absolutely.
All right. So now let's fast forward.
Let's take him to Hollywood.
High Value Man becomes a smashing success.
Right.
And the next film. So now you've got the money. Your situation is however you want it. You can make any film you want. You can even pay the visual artist to make whatever pops into your head, sci-fi movie, whatever. I'm gonna give you we have a modification of a segment we like to call This or That.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about which of these actors would you want to star in your movie. All right, so I'll give you a this or that, and you choose one of them. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So, and Todd, you can participate too if you're familiar with these people.
No, yeah, just.
But,
go ahead.
we're
Yeah,
just gonna
I
talk
give my
about it.
2 cents every now and then.
Okay. So let's start. Our first choice, leading man for the next Christopher English movie, Will Smith or Denzel Washington.
Todd Lawrence.
I like that.
Yeah, Todd
yeah,
Lawrence.
yeah.
All right, as much as we love for
I
Todd
love
Lawrence
that.
to be
I love
there,
it.
that's the caveat. That's
Let's go.
obviously for the next movie. But I mean, let's say you had the ability to cast either of these men.
Yeah, it depends on the movie because
Okay.
my first choice is always going to be Denzel. Denzel's an incredible actor, so is Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But Denzel's getting a little old, so it depends on the role. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. You right. All right. I like
Yeah,
Denzel as the
I'm
first choice.
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
Yeah, he
Todd?
made a good point though.
He is getting a little older.
Yeah, but I'm going with Denzel. I think Denzel's gonna make me more money on that movie.
Like I wouldn't have if the star of the show is supposed to be this nigga that's in college right now.
It would be neither of them.
Yeah,
It would be Todd Lawrence. No,
and an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Liam Neeson was still doing action movies.
He's like 70.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I love The Equalizer, but it depends
Great
on the
movie.
role. It
Okay.
depends on the role.
But
My first choice is going to be Denzel.
Denzel. Okay, cool. All right, so we have another one then. This is why I try to pick people that were like relatively close in age to each other, so you make it even. But yeah, Denzel's a few years older than Will. All right. So Martin Lawrence, if you're making a comedy, or Jamie Foxx.
I told you that's a good one right there.
These were
Yeah.
top choices on this one. This was good.
Marlon Lawrence is funny as hell.
They both.
He's
Hell
still
yeah.
funny, and Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx is funny too. Who the kids connect with now? I'd probably go with Martin. I mean, freaking, Bad Boys for Life just did incredible numbers.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
go with Martin.
All right. I like it.
Martin.
All right. So let's talk about some leading ladies then.
Ooh,
Scarlett Johansson or Megan Fox.
see, my problem with Megan Fox is that she proved that she's not a loyal person. I don't need people that's going to talk shit about me. If you have a problem with me, come and talk to me.
Right.
I don't need that shit put out there like that. You know what I mean? And that's just from growing up, how we grew up in the hood. If you,
Dry snitching.
if you got a problem with me, talk to me. I'm here.
Right, right.
If you're working on my movie, you got my number.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going with Scarlett?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with Scarlett Johansson.
Going with Scarlett too. All right.
Megan Fox is just a pretty face.
Right. I was about
I'm
to
not
say, yeah.
100% sold on her acting chops either.
But congrats to Megan Fox and MGK on their baby and the music video with the baby in it. Congrats. Yeah. Good
Salute.
job. Yep. Here's another one. This is actually one of my childhood crushes. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Two of my childhood crushes. Or Salma Hayek.
Selma Hayek.
Are these both snow bunnies?
No.
No, Selma Hayek is.
I can't believe you just asked that question.
Salma
How
Hayek
dare you?
sounds like a
How
Muslim.
dare you? You better go. You
He
better
can't
go.
be that damn young.
No, he's not. He's not
I'm
that he's that
28.
young. It's not that he's that young. He don't know people's names. He gotta go do
I
some
gotta
movie
see
research.
the movie or something.
Several movies, many movies.
Yes.
Salma Hayek is. Anyway,
Tina.
woo, Salma Hayek, man. She got that. She's Mexican. She got that accent.
waterfall.
Yeah.
But Catherine Zeta-Jones was in the Zorro movie.
Yeah.
Remember Zorro with
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas?
But Selma, I'm sorry. I'm
Woo.
rocking with Selma.
Salma Hayek. All right, bet. And last but not least, most definitely not least, Taraji P. Henson or Gabrielle Union.
Again, that depends on what kind of movie.
No, but for you,
For me,
you producing the movie.
yeah,
pay them what they worth.
I run the gamut, so I think Gabrielle is a pretty face. She's talented. I think Taraji may be a little more talented. Taraji's a little on the heavy side at times.
I mean, she goes to what she needs to for her
right,
role.
because she has her adult grown woman weight on her. So it depends. For like, I wasn't sold on her in that action movie. What was the name of that?
Taraji?
Yeah.
Action movie. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was a Tyler Perry. I don't know if it was a Tyler Perry movie. It might have been, but when she played a hit woman.
She played a hit woman?
Yeah. Was it?
Get in the comments. I don't
was it
remember. I feel bad now.
Acrimony?
I don't.
That sounds about right. It
I
sounds
don't
like-
remember.
That
I don't
definitely
remember.
is a movie, Acrimony. It sounds about right, like a Tyler Perry's.
Yeah.
It sounds.
I don't know. With the two of them, that one I don't know.
You don't know? It's a toss
can't
up.
make it true.
You want to flip a
Halle
coin?
Berry.
Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Halle Berry.
Chris Tucker and Mike Epps.
Interesting.
Mike Epps has a sly type of humor. Chris Tucker. At one point, I would have automatically said Chris Tucker, like in the early
2000s, the Rush Hour 2
But
era.
right about now, I'm probably gonna rock with Mike Epps.
All right.
All right, yeah.
I respect it.
Mike, Big
I
Mike,
respect it.
Unc Mike.
Well,
That's my
I like
Nick.
that segment because it gives us insight into the kind of person you are, and also lets us know in the future who we looking for to cast. No, it's not.
Absolutely.
So, do you have in your mind like a dream film that you would want to make, but you just haven't been able to be in a position to make it yet?
I want to make some type of sci-fi epic, black sci-fi. There was a comic book, and I know it got picked up where, and Supercell is actually kind of doing some of that because it's black superheroes, it's realistic. I want to do some type of sci-fi superhero film, a little more down to earth, not the costumes. Like you discovered all of a sudden that you have powers and
Right.
how you react. But there's a comic book, and I forgot who it is. It's by a black company. And in this world, only black folks had superpowers. Now, you think the mutants and the X-Men were persecuted?
Yeah.
Could you imagine a world where only we had superpowers?
That's fucked
Do
up.
you know how white folks would exterminate? You thought slavery and all that was bad?
I already got superpowers. What do you mean? No, it's not.
But the premise to me is really interesting.
Yeah, it's dope.
You know, these dudes want to rob you. They fly up to your window. You know, they would not
That
let.
would be
They would not let.
crazy.
This world would not let that happen. If black
No.
folks could have powers and nobody else. So I thought that premise was really good.
It would be no more black folks.
It would be no more black
But you know
folks.
what's crazy about that? Do you guys remember a couple of years ago? I think it was like December in 2021 where they were talking about, oh yeah, on December 21st, black people are gonna get superpowers.
No, hell no.
Y'all ain't heard about that?
No.
Are you familiar with a group of young men in Texas called RDC World One?
No.
Okay.
Put me on.
For any of you who don't know about RDC World One, if you're watching this video, I want you to pause this video, go to the YouTube search, and type in RDC World One, all one word. And it's literally like 7-8 dudes, young black dudes in their late 20s, early 30s. They've been making videos for the past 10 years on YouTube. Funny videos. And all they're doing is, like you, coming up with ideas. They love comics, they love movies, they love anime. And they've grown a community of people so big that they have their own convention. They just had it last weekend or the weekend before called DreamCon in Texas. And they fly creators from all over the country. They don't fly them out. People from all over the country buy tickets to DreamCon to show up. And it's like an event for anybody can go, but it appeals to us young black people because it comes from us. They created it. They got to the point where their YouTube videos got so big, they have these sagas where it's like Anime House, and they all play like different anime characters and how they would react if it was an Anime House reality TV show. And they've got like 6 episodes. They made it to the point where the 6th episode was released in a theater in Texas. You know what I mean? They got to the point where they did skits based on the NBA during the finals. They would do skits about LeBron James.
Johnny's a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan of RDC. I'm gonna try to go to DreamCon next year. We'll see what happens. But
Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
Sex traffickers.
Yeah, well, we're not dealing with that. I'm not going to Comic-Con. No, but yeah, no, it's an amazing event for people to one, have a good time together. 2, for us black nerds to talk about black nerd stuff.
Yes.
And not feel judged and not feel like. And then they have events. They have like a creator basketball game, and I think Kalani Rogers played in it this year. She's like really big right now. And then they have like a dodgeball game for like, I don't know, like $100,000 or something crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're making content that they want to make, and they're doing
Promoting
really cool
and
stuff.
motivating people.
Yeah, and it shows you like, and it's not like any of them are professional actors.
Right.
None of them are professional filmmakers or videographers, but they make music. They're making their own comic book. They're gonna make their own animated show called Dark Lights out of it. You know what I mean? And you might actually like it because it's based on like an anime comic book type style, and they're writing the stories, and they're gonna be like, some of them are gonna be acting in the show and stuff. So it's really cool to show like putting in hard work, like you said, teaching yourself. They've taught themselves so many things, and they've created a community of people to the extent that it extends across the country, probably even internationally. So, shout out to y'all, Mark, Dylan, Ben, John, Affion, Leland, all those guys in RDC, and everybody who's creating content right now. Like it's a great time to make content.
Yeah,
I think that's the future
Internet's
of,
the great equalizer.
It's a lot of technology.
Absolutely.
The future is here. It's now.
That's it.
One life. Get to it.
I can't imagine having this when I was growing up.
Yeah,
man.
But yeah, so back to your journey, and like we about to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? We done gave the world enough One Life sauce for the night. But yeah, Chris, like bro, like this is what you're doing right now. It's a great thing. And this is the question that I really had. You know, now you're in your late years of your life. Do you feel like this is your moment right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, does it feel like this is the time? This is, you know, all throughout my entire journey through this one life. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying this, I've been trying that, you know, and now do you feel like you are locked in and ready to hit that home run? Bases are loaded.
Oh, I've always been ready for anything I've partaken in. So, and I've always felt that this was the one.
Yeah.
I feel that way now.
Right.
So let's just see what it do.
Right.
See what it do.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's the way you need to feel.
Yeah.
Because if you believe anything, if you're sitting there like, I don't know, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
But because you believe in it, I think success will come.
Yeah.
Amen.
I mean, I was watching some video today, and it was a filmmaking video, and people were talking about, you know, that a lot of time the fear of failure immobilizes people.
Yeah.
But I've never had that fear. I've always jumped into everything head first. And if I fail, I fail.
Right.
But I'm going to hit something.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to die trying. I never
Get rich or die
feel,
trying.
Yeah.
Yep.
I never feel that this is the best it could be. Right. I'm always trying to improve my situation and
Right.
the situation of others.
Right.
So I've never had a fear of failing. Like,
Right. And and one question that we love to ask all of our talented guests that come on the One Life podcast, man, this is One Life podcast episode 15. So what is some great advice that you could give the world and to our audience watch and people out there chasing their dreams, trying to become successful? You know what I'm saying? What is some great advice that you could give the people out there, you know, chasing their dreams with this one life that you got to live? Just any type of great advice from Christopher English on this one life you got to live.
look, as
Give
long
to
as it
him.
ain't hurting nobody else, do it. Do it.
Elaborate. Yeah, what you mean?
You know, if there's something that you want to do and it's not going to be harmful to you or harmful to someone else, take that chance and do it. You really only have one life. You can't be scared. You know, scared money don't make money. That's how I grew up.
Yeah,
Do it.
do it.
You want to make a film? Do it. You want to start this YouTube channel or you want to become a TikTok influencer? Do it.
Do
The
it.
only thing that can happen is that you fail. And if it fails, try something else. That's what I've always done.
Right.
And I'll keep trying. If this don't work, we'll still have another movie coming out. It's not going to stop us. We'll keep doing something until we succeed at it. So,
Amen.
you know, do it.
Have fun with that journey.
Yeah.
You've been having fun with your journey, with your one life.
That's it.
Enjoying
what it
the
is.
entire journey.
You know, when
Do it.
when I pass, you know, I want somebody to be able to Google my name and they'll see everything I've done. They'll be like, wow, I didn't know he did that. I didn't
Christopher English,
know he- Yes.
That's it.
One Life Podcast, episode 15. Love.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming on.
He said, just do it just like Nike. So we're going to
Yeah.
continue to just do it. This
That's
is
it.
episode 15. Stay tapped in. Stay tuned.
The One Life
like,
Podcast.
comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week.
We out.
Yeah.